Hey there boys and girls, Mrs. Villano here, and in this video we're going to be talking about using area models to multiply two-digit numbers. So let's start off with an easy problem. We'll start off with 20 times 16. So in order to multiply two-digit numbers using an area model, I need to decompose or break up my two numbers. So we all know that area equals length times width. And I'm going to use this area formula to help me solve multiplying these two-digit numbers. So it's almost as if I have a square. The area is everything that's on the inside. And we'll pretend that my length is 20 and my width is 16. Everything that's left on the inside is going to be my area. So that's why it's called area models. And that's what we're using to solve this two-digit number multiplication problem. So if we're decomposing 20, we have a 2 in our tens, which is worth 20, and we have a 0 in our ones, which is worth 0. And if I take a look at the 16, I have a 1 in my tens, which is worth 10, and I have a 6 in my ones, which is worth 6. So I'm going to go ahead and split this up. I have my 4 square that we sometimes call it in class. So again, I'm going to pretend that 20 is my length and 16 is my width. So I'm going to take my decomposed numbers. So I have 20, 0, and 16. I put 10 and 6. So in order to solve for square 1, I have 20 times 10. I might not know what 20 times 10 is, but I do know that 2 times 1 equals 2, and then I have 2 zeros. 1, 2. I don't want to forget about those 2 zeros. Moving on to square number 2, I have 0 times 10. I know that anything times 0 is going to equal 0. So that square number 2 is going to equal to 0. Square number 3, I look up, I have 20 times 6. I might not know what 20 times 6 is, but I do know that 2 times 6 gives me 12. And then I have 1 0 up top to give me 120. And the last one, square 4, 0 times 6. Anything times 0 is going to give you that 0. Now I want to go ahead and add up my pieces. So I have 200 plus 0. Don't need to write anything for that. 120 and 0. Don't need to write anything for that. So I know that 200 plus 120, 0 plus 0 gives me 0. 0 plus 2 gives me 2. 2 plus 1 gives me 3. So my product, the answer I get when I multiply, is 320. Let's go ahead and try another one. We will do for this one, let's say we have 82 times 37. So again, the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to decompose these numbers. So 82 turns into 80 and 2, and 37 turns into 30 and 7. I'm going to go ahead and make my area model for this. I have two-digit numbers, 4 pieces in total, so I'm going to put my 4 square. And let's pretend that 82 is the length. So this piece is going to be worth 80. And if you want a visual representation, I'll do that for you now. So let's say we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So I have 8 tens. And then this piece will have my 2 ones. So then same thing over here. I'm going to pretend 37 is my width. So this side will be worth 10, 20, 30, and then 7. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 ones. Now I'm ready to get started with my multiplication. So if I'm looking at square 1, I see that 80 times 30 will give me what goes into square 1. I don't know what 80 times 30 is, but I do know that 8 times 3 gives me what? 24. But I can't forget about my 2 zeros that I have right here. So add those to the end. Let's try out square number 2. I have 2 times 30. I might not know what 2 times 30 is, but I do know that 2 times 3 gives me 6, and I have 1 0 over here, so I'm going to plug that in. Let's take a look at square number 3. 80 times 7. I might not know what 80 times 7 is, but I do know what 8 times 7 is. If 7 times 7 is 49, and I want to add one more, that will give me 56. Put your 0 down and move on to square 4. 2 times 7, that gives me 14, and I'm ready to go ahead and add all my pieces up. So I have 2,400, I have 60, 560, and 14. Notice how I wrote these out nice and neat, and I lined them all up by my ones, making it easy to add. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4 gives me 4. 0 plus 6 plus 6 plus 1 gives me 13. Put your 3, carry your 1. 4 plus 1 equals 5, and I know 5 plus 5 equals 10. Put your 0, carry your 1. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 1, 2, 3, put your comma. The product of 82 times 37 is 3,034. Let's try another one. This time I want you to pause the video and try this one on your own. Ooh. All right, so let's say I have 42 times 56. Go ahead and pause the video now and try to do this one on your own. I want to see if you can do it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go through this really quick and see if you got this one right. Okay, so I should have at this point made my foursquare, my area model, and decomposed it. So I'm going to have 40 and 2 and 50 and 6. Doesn't matter which side you put them on. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. So 40 times 50. Don't know what 40 times 50 is, but I do know that 4 times 5 gives me 20, and I have 2 zeros left over, giving me 2,000. 2 times 50. 50 plus 50 gives me 100, but if you didn't know that, 2 times 5 equals 10, and you have 1 0 left over. Move on to square 3. 40 times 6. Might not know what 40 times 6 is, but I do know that 4 times 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. Put your 24, put your 0. And your last one, 2 times 6 gives you that 18. Go ahead and add up your 2,000, your 100, your 240, and your 18. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 gives you 8. 0 plus 0 plus 4 plus 1 gives you 5. 0 plus 1 plus 2 gives you 3. And 2 plus 0 gives you 2, leaving you with a product of 2,358. Okay, if you've gotten this far, go ahead and try problems 4 and 5 on your own. These are extra ones for you to try and check on your own. Let's say I have 84 times 51 and 68 times 77. Go ahead and try these ones on your own. If you want to show them to me in class, I'll help you go over them and double check.